Hi everyone, Gina Shelley here, back to tell a story from my childhood. And I just happen to have a childhood picture right here. Can you see me? That's when I was about 3. I know there's a reflection, I'm sorry. Anyway, that's little Gina, and hope you're all doing well. This story actually takes place right about that time, when I was about that size, and it happens at a place called Highway 16 Raceway. Go figure. It's a retired raceway now, out on the outskirts at that time of San Antonio, but it's been retired, and I think they've opened up another one. So this story involves my dad, Joel Sargent, my 2 brothers, older both, and myself. And my age would have been about 3 or 4. So for whatever reason, I was in my father's care. We had been relegated to my father's care, and it would have been either a Saturday or a Sunday. Sunday, I think. And this was really my dad's field trip, right? We were just having to hang on for dear life. And anytime I mention my father, I have to mention the fact that he was a sadistic psychopath. So you understand his behavior it wasn't, and I've studied him my whole life, and I've finally understand what his problem was. He was just very dark, and he really enjoyed hurting people on base in his uniform, and he really enjoyed hurting small children. That never changed. And my mother, that never changed. But I was very young, and we were on our way to the racetrack. The story picks up with us piling out of the truck, and I really was a tomboy, had to be. There wasn't a lot of princess in me back then. I had to be just as rough and tough as my brothers. My father expected it, and many times I just had to keep up. So we piled out of the truck, and one of my dad's favorite games was to leave me behind. I'm not joking. Rest stops, public parks, after school. He had taught my brothers the game of just run away from her. She'll never catch you. And I never was fast enough. They all had much longer legs. But I learned from that to be strong and to just never quit. So, I mean, I would eventually find them, eventually catch up, and that's exactly what happened in this situation. Pile out of the truck, and we are, we're in a gravel field or whatever, and then we make it. I catch up to them because, again, their favorite game is to take off and leave me, the youngest and the only girl, in a public crowd. It's always the favorite. Six Flags was another one, by the way. So I remember walking up. I remember seeing my brothers running, and I got to the gravel from under the bleachers. When you get to bleachers, and then the gravels and the concessions are underneath. So I remember all of that and thinking, that smells good. That would probably taste good, but I'll never have any of that. And don't you dare ask for anything. He'll just yell at you. So I wound up coming up the stairs and turning around, and I could see my father was at the tippy, 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 tippy top of the bleachers. And my brothers were together, but they were far, far over to my, you know, I wasn't going that far. So I really just found a quiet spot right there near the stairs, as far as I could go, as far as I felt comfortable going. And then at some point there was no handrail, and it seemed really high to me. So I didn't go. I could see him, and I just sat down in the middle of a empty spot. And I'm a young child, and um, there were people all around me that realized what was happening. I had no idea. Of course, this was a normal day for me. But my dad was all the way to the top of the bleachers, which had, strangely, a chain link across the back. And people, like, there was a dude leaning, and I'm like, you're going to fall. But he didn't fall, thank God. But my dad was standing up there, I think also leaning. But he was standing so he could see the drags that were going under, like on the backside, and the round track, which I was really just stuck there um, in a void, in a crowd with a lot of sound. And, you want to enjoy something like that. And I think I did the most I could, but it didn't go well. I don't know how long this lasted, but I remember right before the sun started to head down, I remember as I'm sitting there in my own little world, I remember my father's feet coming bounding, 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 bounding down those steps and flew by me as fast as he could. Now, my brothers were already on his tail, but they were down the steps and off into the grass before I and again, this is their favorite game, their absolute favorite game. And the bleachers are still full, but it's fixing to dump out because it's all fixing to be over. But my dad had seen enough, and he's trying to beat the rush, and he's in a hurry, and I mean right now, right now, right now. And so I immediately realized I've been left, and I kind of come unglued a little bit because I've been abandoned, and remember all these people are watching. And as a small child, I remember reaching out to him with both hands going, please help me, please help me. I'm in a place in the bleachers or the stands where there's no rail, and I'm standing up reaching and crying for him. That was the wrong thing to do. That was the wrong thing to do. He screamed at me in his drill sergeant voice and told me what for, and ripped me a new one right there in front of everyone and demanded that I immediately get there, and I mean right now, this very second. Now, my dad was a drill sergeant, and the rule at our house and amongst us was if he calls your name, you have exactly 10, no matter where you are, in the backyard, in the house somewhere, 10 seconds to get to him. Or he will, if he has to come looking for you, it's death. You'd rather be dead. So I knew I had to make a decision very, very quickly. And I fell back on the only thing I knew, which was to sit down and scoot on my butt to get down those bleacher steps that I had no handle, nothing to ground me. And I had learned that from as early as I can remember, like a year, maybe 2 years. I was wearing the shoes with the metal plate in the middle. I had learned to scoot on my butt instead of walking. I had to wear those all the time to correct my pigeon toes, and it was an embarrassment to my father. But I had to wear those shoes, and in wearing those shoes, I learned to scoot on my butt. And so when he demanded I come right then, I fell back on my training and immediately dropped on my butt, scooted, drop scooted, boom, boom, boom. And I was as fast as I could, right on their heels. And problem solved, let's go. And I had no idea how much I had incensed him by doing this, because the entire crowd that had been aware of me this entire time, sitting all by myself in the middle of all that noise with no one watching me. There was one lady that offered me some popcorn and a soda, and I think I probably took it. I mean, I never said no, but when I did that to my dad, they were laughing at him, or he felt laughed at, and he became enraged at me, and it was always my fault, and he blamed me for everything. So as we were on our way to the truck, stay tuned for part 2.